What is up, Endgame family? It is draft time once again, and Sunday night. So that means Best Ball Mania. That's right, BBM5. We're going to get in there again. You want to join us? You could actually do that. So, number one, you should have an Underdog account. And I say that because you should already have an Underdog account. It is the best fantasy site out there, underdogfantasy.com. Go check it out if you haven't for some reason. Or just go to the app, just search Underdog. It'll pop right up. And if you don't have an Underdog account, we'll get one right now because if you use code ENDGAME, then that gets you all sorts of goodies. You get bonus cash up to 250. You get free new customer specials, free pick them. And of course, they always have these specials, even for existing customers. You go right now onto Underdog, you'll see these free pick'ems you get for baseball. We just talked about on the baseball stream, Shohei Ohtani. You got Olympic basketball, LeBron James. I saw him up there. I think I saw Jokic up there. They score 1 point. You get that free pick. There's all sorts of things. So go check it out. Now, you're already on Underdog. You know what BBM is. We're going to get into a best ball draft right here. And you can try to join with us. It is Best Ball Mania 5. You can see right there. Go to the lobby. It will pop right up. It's probably already front and center. Chris is showing you right there. We're doing the live draft, so 30 seconds per pick. You ready for another one of these?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, everybody else wants to jump in there. Let's see if we can get it. Enter on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Well, still got 5 spots. 4 spots.
All right, that's good because my thing is spinning. Come on, Underdog. All right, I'm in.
There you go.
I'm in.
Couple spots left. What is up? The coach, Arthur Smith, is in the house.
Yeah, I know. What's up, Arthur Smith? You never respond to me. I did a best ball draft I did a best ball mania on Thursday. I picked from the 12 spot. Can I just tell you how much I love picking from the 12 spot? I think it's a great spot, honestly, this year. Love it. But he came in late and I said, "Hey, Arthur, I didn't draft any Steelers. How do you feel about that?" And he didn't respond. Maybe he wasn't happy. Maybe he was very upset that I did not draft any Steelers and he stormed off. I don't know. It seems like an Arthur Smith move.
Yeah, that's how you know it's really him.
Yes, that's how you know it's really Arthur Smith. You didn't draft a single player on the Steelers?
Done. Rage quit. All right. Looks like we're waiting for nothing.
Nobody.
Now we're starting. All right. Very quick.
I'm at the 9. This might be my least favorite spot. The 9.
Okay. Here we go. You get the 9. I got 11, so I'm close to the end. I see Miguel. What's up, Miguel? At the 7. Anybody else? No.
Let's see. Yeah, Miguel at the 7. No, I don't think so. I like the 11 too. I really think I got some questions about this. What's up, Miguel? He's back. I got some questions about this during that stream on Thursday. Somebody even asked, like, in their redraft league, I think they said they had like pick 11 or 12, and somebody offered to trade them like pick 9, I think it was. And they're like, "Oh, I hate the turn." I'm like, I love the turn this year. Like, getting this, like, I started that draft with Puka and Jahmyr Gibbs, like, all day. All day I'm taking Puka, Jahmyr Gibbs at the turn, like, all day long. Give me that all day long. And my issue with like the early picks, like, sure, you get like the CMCs and I get all that, but when it comes back to you at the end of the second, I just don't like those players. You know what I mean? Nearly as much. And I don't feel like the guys you get at the end of the first round are significantly, like, are such a big drop off from the guys you get early in the first round. So yeah, I like picking towards the end. I'm not sure I like the 9 spot. We'll see.
Well, I was going to say it really depends. At least at 9, you feel like you can get for sure a Puka or an AJ Brown, and sometimes those guys aren't available. So then you have to decide where you really want. Garrett Wilson there, 9 feel, 9. I just feel a little more secure the 9 spot than the 11. But like you said, I don't want to be in the mid to late part of the second round or early third if possible. So I agree with you. I'll either go early or late. I still don't like to be stuck in the middle.
Yeah. My issue with the 9 spot as well is, like, yeah, maybe Breece will fall to you at the 9 sometimes, and then I feel pretty good. But a lot of times you're trying to decide, like, is A.J. Brown really worth the 9th pick? Is Puka really worth the 9th pick? See, like here, so Breece Hall doesn't make it to me. Like, A.J. Brown doesn't feel like he should be a top 9 pick. Puka doesn't feel like he should be a top 9. Garrett Wilson doesn't feel like he should be top 9. Like, I mean, I'm going to go with A.J. Brown because that's the guy who goes here, and I don't think I've gotten much A.J. Brown this year. But, like, A.J. Brown at 9 just feels way, like, what? A.J. Brown at 9? Like, really? That's where we're at? And then when it comes back to you in the second here, I mean, we'll see who's there. Maybe you can get lucky, and, like, Jonathan Taylor sometimes falls to you there. Or maybe if you get lucky, maybe like a Olave or a Marvin Harrison. But you also could be staring at guys like, like Nico Collins, Deebo Samuel, like these guys, that you're like, is this guy really worth, like, you know what I mean? Is this really who I want to pick here?
Yeah.
I don't know. Nine just feels like,
Oh, wow. All right. There goes Taylor before Gibbs.
Maybe a Taylor Gibbs start here. That's not, look, Taylor Gibbs, I don't think is a bad start at all either. Like, go Taylor Gibbs, and then there, like, now just for like the next 6-7 rounds, do not touch running back unless you get like an incredible value. Just wide receiver, maybe a tight end, maybe a early QB. I don't think that's a bad strategy at all this year.
Yeah, he went Taylor Gibbs at the turn, which, again, not a bad strategy. I really thought I would get Taylor. What I'm usually doing is I'm getting Taylor early second, but obviously I was denied that this time. So I'll say this, I'm a little surprised because I thought you were pretty set on Puka as, a wide receiver 1. So I kind of feel like I expected you to go Puka at 9 and be happy with it.
If this was a redraft league, like one of my redraft leagues, yes, I would go Puka. But this is Underdog Best Ball. I'm going to be doing hopefully 150 of these. I don't want to be overexposed to Puka Nacua. Like, I don't want to draft Puka Nacua every time he's available at 9, every time he's available at 10, every time he's available at 11, every time he's available at 12, and then I end up with like 30% Puka Nacua, and something happens where he's not as good or he gets hurt, and then 30% of my lineups are dead. So in that's why on these underdog drafts, I don't like to, especially in the early rounds, if you're going to be doing a lot of drafts, I don't like to stray too far from the ADP because I don't want to be way overexposed to somebody, who, like, even if I'm higher on them, because it's football. This guy's season could end. Training camps are about to start. Sadly, seasons are going to end in training camp. Like, they are. It may not be anybody that like is a high-end fantasy player, but seasons are going to end even in training camp. And if your first round pick, you have 30% exposure to him, and his season ends in week 3, 30% of your lineups are almost dead. So I don't like to, like, even though I got my guys in these underdog drafts, I'm just going to mostly stick to ADP, especially in the early rounds.
Yeah, no, in the early rounds, you definitely don't want to stray too far. We've talked about this a lot. The advantage you get versus having this player you think is better versus where somebody else got him. But anyways, yeah, that makes sense, I guess. So the answer is you already have enough Puka that you want to look to differentiate a little bit.
Yeah, it's not even that I really don't have enough. I mean, I haven't done enough drafts yet to really be thinking about exposure too heavily yet. It's more of the fact that, like, again, if I take Puka here at 9 and then down the road I get a because I just got Puka at 12 in my last draft. So let's say next time I draft, I have a pick at 10 and Puka's available. I take Puka again. I get another pick at 9. I take Puka again. And then you look at by the end of the season, you're like, oh my gosh, I drafted every time I had a pick from 9 to 12 where Puka was available. I took them and I end up with 35, 40% Puka. Puka better be great.
Yeah.
Because if he's not, I've just really severely, killed a lot of my lineups. So in this format, in this thing, I'm going to stick mostly to ADP. Now that doesn't mean I won't take guys like if Chris Olave and I guess it wouldn't make sense, but if there's guys I don't like in that range, I'll take a guy right after him. But I'm not going to take a guy like, oh, I think player X should be going in, like Isaiah Pacheco is a perfect example. I think Isaiah Pacheco should be like a late second rounder, early third rounder. That doesn't mean I'm going to take him late second, early third in best ball drafts. No way, because you can get him in the 4th And you know what I mean? So yeah, like in redraft, sure, I might do that because you don't want to run the risk of not getting him if he's your guy. But in best ball, when you're doing a ton of drafts like this, tend to stick somewhat close to ADP, especially in the early stages.
Oh yeah, in the early rounds, agree. You really don't want to reach. There's always going to be somebody you should be happy with. Dr. Garrett Wilson, are you going to take any Garrett Wilson at 9 in any of these leagues? Keith, what's up? Keith says Garrett Wilson at 9 will win leagues. Well, then he should definitely win me a league at pick 11.
Probably not because if I can get Garrett Wilson at 11, then I'm going to end up taking Garrett Wilson at 9 and 11, and I'm going to be overexposed to Garrett Wilson. So, like here, I don't like Malik Neighbors this year. I think Malik Neighbors is being way overdrafted. I think people are going to be very disappointed they took Malik Neighbors in the 3rd round of their fantasy leagues. But he normally goes towards the early 3rd round here, so I'm going to take a Malik Neighbors share here because I'm probably not going to – he's not a guy I'm going to draft a lot of. So when I get him at a bit of a value, I'm going to take him. Would I do this in a redraft league? Heck no. No way.
No.
I would probably, if it was a redraft league, I would probably go Pittman here.
Well, I am going to go Pittman. He, I think, is now officially the one player I have the most exposure to in underdog drafts so far this season. But I do have one share of Diggs, I think 2 of Neighbors, but I'm going to keep going to Pittman also because I think it's too early to take a Laporta here. I have a lot of Flowers too. I feel like I'm always taking either Pittman, Flowers, or Pickens, and I'm thinking I'll get either Flowers or Pickens on the way back here. We'll see. I'm not getting Pickens.
Yeah. By the way, I started that draft from the 12. I went Puka, Gibbs, Zay Flowers, Sam Laporta.
4th round, that's good.
Yeah, I felt very good about that. Stinger saying he's hoping Neighbors is the answer for our wide receiver core. I think he is the answer for your wide receiver core. The issue is not Malik Neighbors. That's not the issue. The issue is Daniel Jones. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw. Is it Hard Knocks? Are the Giants on Hard Knocks? Is that what it is?
I think so.
And they were. You're on the clock, but okay, yeah, you did go Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna if Laporta falls to me here, I have to take Laporta. Like this is such a discount. Yeah. Okay, he went. See, Kelsey is not a guy. I would rather just go. Do we go full 0 RB here, or do I? You know what? I'm gonna grab Pacheco here as my RB1. I like Pacheco here. Did you see where like it was a clip I saw where like the GM was saying like Daniel Jones is our guy, and Brian Daboll's face was like, did you see that?
I haven't watched it, no, but
no, I didn't watch it. I just saw the clip of it, and it's like it would be like if you're playing poker and that person that has a royal flush and they can't like hide it, like I have a royal, like you know what I mean? But it was in the opposite way where he was like I don't want Daniel Jones back, and the GM's like we're sticking with Daniel Jones, and he didn't even like hide it, like his disgust that they're bringing back Daniel Jones. That's the issue with Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors is fine. He can definitely be your wide receiver 1 for years to come once they get rid of Daniel Jones.
I mean, yeah, this is definitely true. It's definitely his last year to prove himself. He doesn't have a career year. He's gone. And of course, if he has a bad year, Giants should probably pick it early enough that they can entertain a quarterback again. But we know he's not the guy. I mean, he's just not the guy for that system. Not Daboll's guy. He's just not the guy. So that's the thing. Like with Neighbors, look, Dynasty is a different beast. But I'll say this: I'll wait till Neighbors underwhelms this year, and then see if I can buy into him for Dynasty because they'll get a new quarterback.
Yeah, it'll be tough because it's tough with like Garrett Wilson, right? Garrett Wilson didn't have a great rookie year. I mean, he was good. Like I'm not like Garrett Wilson certainly wasn't terrible as a rookie, but certainly didn't live up to expectations. Certainly didn't live up to expectations last year. But guys like that, like they still have hold their value pretty well in Dynasty because everybody knows how good of prospects they are. So,
yeah.
And I know Clayton's saying doesn't think Daniel Jones. So I looked at it. Do you realize Daniel Jones? Let me bring it back up. So Daniel Jones, career high in passing yards, which, by the way, was the year he got paid after that. 3,200 yards. 15, count them, 15 passing touchdowns that year. And remember, this is the other thing. People knock like, oh, rushing quarterback. Daniel Jones is a rushing quarterback who runs for touchdowns too. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, 3,200 yards and 15 touchdowns. I don't care if you put Justin Jefferson in that lineup. He's not going to be great. That's just not enough to support an elite wide receiver. It's just not.
No, it definitely isn't. And like even in best ball, you could say in a format like this, well, he doesn't need to be a dominant every week. Are you drafting him in the top 30 picks? He better be dominant more than just 2 or 3 weeks, just spike weeks. You need more than just spike weeks if he's that early. And so that's why I hate getting him so early because I don't think that's enough. He's going to have too many down weeks for where he's being drafted.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I get the whole spike week thing, but you don't want to draft a guy in the 3rd round and get you like 4 or 5 spike weeks.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what's a like realist. Like, let's be real. If Daniel Jones, let's say Daniel Jones throws 3,500 yards and 25 touchdowns this year because Malik Neighbors is there. What is a realistic spike week for Malik Neighbors? 100 yards and 2 touchdowns would feel like a miracle.
Yeah. It's absolute ceiling.
So, I mean, I'm still taking shots because you never know. You never know, but all right. Well, I was going to go Kincaid if he fell to me there. He did not. See, I really don't like. I feel like it's too early for Reed. I don't like Ridley here. Godwin's the guy I probably like. I'm just going to go with Godwin now.
Good pick. Starting to invest more in Godwin. Which, by the way, Jaden Reed right there, he already was going a little too early for our taste. And now unavailable. He's going to be on the NFI list. It doesn't seem like it's some major thing, but does that concern you?
No.
Too early?
Yeah, no. Does not concern me at all. No. But one thing about Jaden Reed, because if you remember last year, he was banged up a lot. I remember they were trying to use him like Deebo Samuel, like end arounds, and he was getting like beat up. And it's like, Jaden Reed is 187 pounds, Packers. Let's use this guy the way he should be used. Let's not give Jaden Reed carries, end arounds. You know what I mean? Where he gets drilled by safeties and linebackers. He's 187 pounds. Like, put him in the slot, give him those mismatches, let him do what he does after the catch, but don't kill this guy, please. Don't kill this guy.
Yeah, and that's why they really won't need to do that either. They have Josh Jacobs, and they drafted Lloyd. They should have a good enough 1-2 punch. One of those running backs should do the job.
All right. Well, I mean, I am going to have to take him here if this guy doesn't take him, because now the value's there. And I'd actually really hope this guy doesn't take Jaden Reed, because I'm probably not going to take a lot of Jaden Reed. I would have loved to get Jaden Reed there. Wow, this is surprising. Rashee Rice has jumped ahead of Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, when did that happen? This feels like very recent. He was at one point was down in like the 80s and ADP. Now all of a sudden he's back up in the 60s. Like what?
Well, sorry, I like Worthy more. I'm going Worthy.
Yeah.
Would have been really nice. It would have been really nice to get Jaden Reed there though at a discount, and then I could potentially, because you can stack him with Jordan Love pretty easily. And again, I don't know how much. Like, I'm not gonna. Jaden Reed's not going to be one of those guys I'm going to probably have a super high exposure to. So.
Yeah, I think any Jaden Reed I got was earlier in the preseason, way early in best ball season, I should say.
This is definitely more my type of draft. One running back through 6 rounds, 5 wide receivers.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh, maybe the guy on pick maybe the guy on pick 10 is on the stream, and I played myself by saying I want Jaden Reed.
It's possible. We never know, do we?
It's all right though. Like I said, I'm gonna be doing 100. I'm gonna be doing 150 of these. I'll have plenty of chances to draft Jaden Reed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, why is Rashee Rice's ADP jumping back up? Just because we haven't heard anything about the suspension, so people are like, oh, maybe he's not going to get suspended.
I feel it's just this natural like market valuation, ebb and flow. It's like, his ADP starts to go down because people don't want to take on the risk. And then it gets down to the point where he seems like a screaming value. So people start to buy. So his ADP starts to go up, now it's going to get up to like the 50s and people are going to start to wait and then it's going to drop again.
True.
He's going to be one of those players because we don't really know where to value him right now. So he's kind of in limbo. So he feels like he could be drafted anywhere in these rounds.
All right, everybody healthy, nobody suspended. How do you rank the Chiefs wide receivers? Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice. Everybody's healthy, nobody's suspended. How do you rank them?
It's still Hollywood number one because I think he's just a better receiver, and I don't think we need to put a lot of stock into what the chemistry. And come on, Rice was there for one season, right? He was a rookie. He was there, and he kind of became the top target. I mean, I have to say, kind of by default, because all the other receivers they have kind of suck. So I don't think it's that Rice was that good. Since he's in that Chiefs offense and he feasted on zone, and Rice is still good in certain situations, but I think Hollywood's just a better receiver, the better downfield threat. And so, yeah, it's clearly Hollywood number one for me. I would still say, all things being equal, I'll go Rice 2, and then Worthy. I think Worthy has his place in best ball. Yeah, a little hesitant. I won't say skeptical, maybe a little hesitant to fully buy into him for fantasy.
All right, that's fair. I got Worthy ahead of Rice.
Just more explosiveness or what?
Yeah, explosiveness. And like you said, I did not like Rice as a prospect. Now, sure, Rice was good last year. I don't think Rice was as good as people remember him being, but he was good. He was solid. And I certainly am not off Rashee Rice. I mean, second round Rashee Rice this early offseason was insane to me. I think where he's going now is totally fine. But I think Worthy has that massive upside that Rice just doesn't have.
True.
Like Rice can be solid, but Worthy has the chance to be if you draft Rice and Rice is good again this year, you're going to be like, all right, cool. If you draft Worthy, not saying this is going to happen, but I'm saying the range, if you look at the range of outcomes, the range of outcomes for Rashee Rice is a very good fantasy wide receiver. The range of outcomes for Xavier Worthy is an elite fantasy wide receiver. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I think he has that ceiling that Rashee Rice does not.
Oh yeah.
Do I have to go Kamara here because I have no Kamara and I'm hardly ever going to draft Kamara? Okay, fine.
Right. Yes. I'm not sure if I have any Kamara. I mean, I guess I should at some point grab him, but I just don't. I'm grabbing one of the two running backs that I'm about to grab, depending on who this guy takes.
There's a greater than 50% chance Kamara is terrible this year. The offensive line is awful for New Orleans. He was terrible down the stretch. He was only good those first few games when he first came back from suspension because he was getting double-digit targets. Now there's Clint Kubiak there. I think we're going to see more downfield passing. We're going to see an actual real passing attack that throws the ball to wide receivers. I think there's a better than 50% chance Alvin Kamara is just awful this year. But that being said, I'm probably not going to take Alvin Kamara very often. So when he's a bit of a value and I don't have enough, and I only have one running back, those are the drafts where I'm going to be like, okay, give me Kamara so I have some exposure to him just in case he gets 100 stupid targets this year or something.
Yeah. Well, I will say at least he probably will have some spike weeks because he'll have that game where he catches 8 passes or does score a couple touchdowns. But yeah, limited exposure. Give me Zeus.
Yeah,
and then here, I think I'm going to have to take one of your favorite guys.
All right. I don't know if I would have taken him here. Maybe. There's somebody I'm looking at that I normally don't draft, but I want to draft them because I like the ability to pair. Oh, and I got sniped again. Didn't even say his name this time. Oh, man. All right, again. Oh, geez. All right, again. I don't love Addison this year, but again, probably not gonna draft a ton of Addison. He'll have his spike weeks, so get some exposure to him here.
Yeah, it's not too bad. He'll be fine.
So I'm probably going to be Frankensteining a QBs and tight ends in this draft. We'll see here.
Plenty of
Yick
QB
wants
value.
to know, okay, in half PPR, who do you have? You taking Jefferson, Hall, or Bijan in half PPR?
Ooh. In half PPR, I'm going Jefferson still, I think.
Yeah, I'm still going Jefferson.
Now, some people are nervous about Jefferson. We keep saying not. I think he's shown he's pretty much quarterback.
Yep, I'm still going Jefferson. I don't think it's like, I think it's totally fine if you want to go with one of the running backs. I totally understand that. I think Bijan and Breece will be great this year. So,
yeah, I agree. I don't think it's I don't feel too strongly about it. If it's me, I'm usually taking Jefferson. It's just, statistics prove it's usually safer to take a receiver the first round than a running back. So there's that. All right, let's about halfway through. What, round 9 here? Yeah.
Yeah, we're in round 9. I have no QB, no tight end yet, but wow, Rashid Shaheed's ADP has jumped way up too.
There was one draft I just did. He's definitely rising. I don't know what let me see. His actual ADP now is 103, almost top 100. I swear I just did a draft not long ago. He was taken earlier than this. I was like, what is going on? Like, I know we like Shaheed and great value, but there comes a point where he's not going to be a good value either if he keeps rising.
Exactly. And all it's going to take is a few highlight reels in camp, one preseason game where he scores 2 touchdowns, and all of a sudden he's going to be like a top 60, 70 pick. And it's like, nope, I can't draft Rashid Shaheed anymore.
Yeah.
All right. We talked about the Chiefs wide receivers. What about receivers from different teams? I know you like both these guys. I do too. You're on the clock. Zay Flowers, Hollywood Brown are on the board. Who are you taking first?
Zay or Hollywood? I got Zay earlier. Yep. I've talked a lot. In fact, some of the most recent videos we've done, I've talked about some sleepers, breakouts, you want to call them league winners. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can throw it out there. I really like Zay Flowers a lot this year. So I like Hollywood, but let's face it, target share, the advantage definitely goes to Zay. I don't think it'll be a big difference, but I got Zay. What about you?
Yeah, same. I got Zay. It's funny. It's like, do you like the former Ravens wide receiver or the current Ravens wide receiver? Okay, I don't have a stack for Burrow here, but Burrow going this late. Okay, I'll take Burrow, and maybe I'll try to get like Jermaine Burton later for a stack.
Yeah, look, the stack doesn't have to be the top target on the team or even one of the top 2 receivers. So, and like, you don't have to stack in every single best ball. Yeah, there's an advantage, but there comes a point where you don't. Look, this is honestly a player I don't think hardly any of. And I don't have a stack here, but because I don't have much Jaden Daniels, I'll take him.
That's who I was actually hoping somebody would take Joe Burrow before it got to me, and I was going to take Jaden Daniels because Jaden Daniels is one of those quarterbacks I actually don't mind drafting when I don't have like Terry McLaurin, because you can get Jahan Dotson later.
Yeah. And
Jermaine Burton, like, okay, I'll take him for the stack, but I mean, Jermaine Burton's could do nothing this year, honestly. I like Jermaine Burton, but there's a path where Jermaine Burton does nothing, right? Because it's just T. Higgins and Jamar Chase all year.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. But yeah, Daniels, again, you don't have to stack for the sake of stacking, and I hate feeling like I'm going to do that anyways. Okay.
First, so Mason asking the first few picks. It usually goes Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill. I think it's Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Bijan Robinson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Breece Hall are the first picks, usually off the board, I believe. Did I miss anybody in there?
Oh, the first, what were the first few picks in general? Yeah, the first round pretty much went. It's pretty typical.
All right. I don't mind Cooks here. I certainly don't mind Javonte here. I certainly don't mind Gus or Dontavian Wicks here, but I'm going to get my first tight end with Dallas Goedert.
Very nice. Yeah, Mason, he's asking about the first few picks for each of us. So we'll go over our teams, our entire roster at the end. You'll see how we
I think he's just asking. Here, I'll scroll up. I think he's just asking about the draft. So here you go. CMC, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson. Although usually Tyreek Hill goes ahead of Jefferson. Tyreek Hill, Bijan, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Breece Hall. That's typically the first 8 in some order in pretty much every draft. I think, like even like Sleeper, ESPN, Yahoo. I don't think it really matters. I think that's pretty much how most drafts are starting this year.
In these drafts, you're hardly ever going to get any major surprises early on. People are putting money in. They're usually pretty sharp drafters. You're not going to get anybody any shocking picks.
Right, not usually, unless somebody's doing some funny stuff, some funny business, which I haven't seen. Like we've seen it when we do like puppies or like those lower entry drafts, but I haven't seen it in Best Ball Manias yet.
Right. We'll go over our teams too at the end, though. Yeah, you usually don't see, even in the middle rounds, you don't really see any big reaches. The only thing I think sometimes you'll see is people, I feel, will reach for a quarterback. For whatever reason. I keep saying having a quarterback early, and especially earlier than ADP, is not going to help you win your league. Right? Getting Josh Allen in round 2 that's not going to be a winning best ball roster. It's going to be whoever gets like the CJ Stroud from last year, right? The quarterback you can take in the middle rounds, who is a top 5 quarterback statistically. That's what you want.
Yeah, man, Javonte Williams' ADP has really dropped because of, I guess, people worried about he's going to get cut. But yeah, I think I will sometimes reach on a QB a little bit if I want the stack. I will, because I've had too many of these drafts where like I end up with like, where it's like, oh, I could take, like, let's say I take Jamar Chase in round 1. It's like, oh, I could take Joe Burrow here, but it's a little early, and then he never makes it back to me. And then I end up with like, like an unstacked Kirk Cousins as my QB1 or something. And I'm just like, oh, I hate this. Not that I'm down on Kirk Cousins, but it's like I could have just gotten Joe Burrow a little early and, stacked him with Chase and it just makes it so much easier. So, yeah, Javonte all the way down to pick 128 now. Wow. People are really worried he's going to get cut.
Yeah, there was a report the other day that something about Javonte and Samaje Perine are fighting for the same roster spot or something like that. Like, I think that's a little misleading. I don't think Javonte's fighting to stay on the roster. As if McLaughlin and who's the guy? Jalen Justin Watson or whoever it is now. Like they've
No,
got
Audric Estime. Audric Estime,
estimate. Like he's got a spot locked up. Javante, like come on.
I saw another Denver beat reporter. She said like, no, she feels like Javante is the clear RB1. So that's the thing. You gotta try to read through the noise this time of year. All right, do we go?
That was an auto, by the way. I did not. I was trying to hit draft and I didn't get it in time. And I had him queued up, so that was a horrible auto pick.
All right, I'm gonna go with Schultz here. Who'd you take? Hey, you got
McCaffrey.
the Washington stack. You got Daniels, Dotson, and McCaffrey.
Not what I intended, but I was too slow on the draft because we were talking about I don't know what. Oh well. We're talking about Denver running backs.
This is another thing. Like, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe Dallas. Like that's what people are thinking, right? Like if Javante does get cut, Dallas would sign him. But it doesn't even make sense. Like it doesn't even make sense. Like, what is Javante getting this year? He's a $2 million cap hit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why would you cut a 24-year-old running back? Unless you just think like he's terrible, right? Unless the Broncos are like, oh, this guy's awful.
Wow.
P Ryan's making 4.5. Like P Ryan, that seems like a cut potential right there. It's like, come on, that guy's almost 30 years old, making $4.5 million, and he's like, well, what's his role on this team? Just to go out there and catch some passes? Like, you know what I mean? Some dump offs. That's his role.
Yeah, well, that's what McLaughlin can do. That's what, if anything, it should be the report should have been saying like, "Hey, Piron's on the bubble. He might not make the roster." That makes sense.
Yeah, Piron is the one I think could be cut. $4.5 million for a guy who's they can easily replace his role with McLaughlin. But the thing to me, like, okay, because I think the report came from something where like Javante struggled in OTAs and McLaughlin looked great. McLaughlin estimate looked great in OTAs. Okay, whatever. But if McLaughlin was so good, why didn't McLaughlin take over that backfield last year? Javante was not even healthy last year. Javante wasn't even good last year, right? Like Javante was out there struggling. So if McLaughlin is so good, why didn't McLaughlin just take over that backfield?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Either way, in Denver, I feel like it's going to be some sort of a committee. Peyton seems to really have a preference for a guy who has that pass catching role, like a very distinct role. And that was P. Ryan mainly last year. And McLaughlin kind of shared time or at times took over for Javante. But all of those guys were involved, right, at various points. And then they just drafted another running back in Estime. And so it's either way, you're looking at 2 or 3 guys who are going to touch the ball probably every game. And that's why it's hard to buy into any one of them early. I don't think any of those guys, even as, Javonte Williams is the clear RB1. I'm still not drafting him in the top 100 because I know the way this backfield is. Like, who's the early down back? Who's the third down back? Who's the situational back? That's what you have to look into. So I would much rather take a discount on McLaughlin late than take Javante unless he's of value.
You're on the clock, by the way. Don't auto again.
Yeah, don't want to auto again.
But look, the thing is, like, it felt like P. Ryan was the pass catching back last year, but Javante actually led the team in receptions and targets among the running backs. So again, this is why I don't like. This is why the cut Javante thing doesn't make sense to me. Again, unless like the Broncos are like, okay, this guy just isn't any good, right? They're just like, hey, this guy's not any good. Because again, last year he wasn't good. McLaughlin could have made McLaughlin the 1A guy, right? Like, I know McLaughlin's not going to be a workhorse, but they could have made him like the more of the lead. But it was clearly Javante was ahead of McLaughlin last year. And P. Ryan was really just like the 2-minute guy, right? Like 2-minute offense, then they put Pirine out there. So that's why it just doesn't make sense to me. Again, unless they just are looking at Javonte and being like, this guy's terrible, which maybe they are.
Yeah, well, just being a brotherhood was saying he feels like Javonte's checked out, like in Denver. Like maybe he wants out. Who knows? Maybe Peyton isn't a Javonte guy. Javonte's not a Peyton guy. We've seen things like that happen, right? He didn't draft him, and I gotta feel like that is slight red flag when they drafted running back. I know it wasn't early, but that's not really. It wasn't. I don't feel like it was a need for this team. They have a lot of needs in Denver. That wasn't one of them.
Yeah, it definitely would have been better if they didn't draft a running back. But man, Audric Estime was not one of my the problem with Audric Estime, for me, like Audric Estime to me is like Tyler Algier. Like he's fine. I don't think he'll be terrible. But I mean, this guy had a 5% college target share. He's not going to catch passes. So he's not going to be the pass catching back, which we know is that's what's super valuable in the Sean Payton offense. Because every year Sean Payton has been a coach in the NFL, his offenses have finished top 5 in targets to running backs, including last year when they were number 1 in targets to running backs. So it's not just because he had Kamara. Like people, he had Kamara. Like, no, even it didn't matter. He number 1 to targets to running backs. That's how he uses running backs.
Right.
As a 5% college target share, like he's not going to be the pass catching back. He's 17th.
No. Oh no,
17th percentile speed score.
No. They even said it was I think it was the offensive coordinator. There was a comment just weeks ago saying, maybe it was Peyton himself. Honestly, I don't remember, but saying Estime, they specifically said something about first and second down. Like that he's been pegged for that role. Like that's it. They're saying, oh yeah, we could see him helping on early downs. He's not catching passes. Like that's you can throw that out. It's going to be McLaughlin or Pirine or Javonte if he's still there. But it's not going to be Estime. So his role is very limited. And that's why I'm pretty much out on him, because if he's not scoring touchdowns at the goal line, which look, Denver's offense is only going to score so many short touchdowns, I just don't see a lot of upside for him. Like I don't think. Sorry for the physical comp and the Notre Dame comp. And so, Kyron Williams. He's not going to be Kyron Williams.
No,
he's not.
No.
But also look, who do they have at quarterback now? It's Bo Nix. Bo Nix was drafted for his arm strength. Bo Nix is going to be kind of like a young. I don't know. That's not fair. I don't want to say Drew Brees. He's going to be a poor man's version of late career Drew Brees. How about that?
That's fair. That's fair. And one big difference between Kyron and Estime, you mentioned that because a lot of people just compare because Notre Dame, slow, right? Notre Dame, slow running backs. Kyron Williams had a 12.5% target share. That was almost 90th percentile. Kyron Williams was a great, and still is, a very good pass-catching running back. This is not what Estime is going to do.
Nope. Time out again. Okay.
Anyways, that was a lot of talk about the Denver backfield. Probably not the backfield that deserves that much attention.
It was probably too much. But these are the kind of things that might distinguish people looking late in the draft. So I take McLaughlin as a possible leader. Do I take Estime? I'm going McLaughlin. I noticed you took him last round.
Well, I mean, he was on the board there. So I'll take, I don't know. I still prefer Javonte. I still think Javonte is going to get a chance to be the one. But one thing I've learned over the years is if somebody has a path and they aren't completely awful, or they're not being drafted way too high, like Gabe Davis a few years ago, it's worth taking a shot on them. Because look, if we were doing a draft July 21st of 2023, and I said, you have to draft Kyron Williams, people would have been like, this guy's a clown. You're a clown telling people to draft Kyron Williams, right? That's what people would say. You're a clown thumbs down, thumbs down. You know, you don't know what you're talking. This guy's an idiot. And then Kyron Williams won your fantasy league. So, like, yeah, if the guy's got a realistic path, I'm not saying like, you know, but if he's got a realistic path, he's probably worth. All right, I'm gonna. Oh, geez. All right. Take one of my very few shares of Daniel Jones to stack with neighbors.
Wow. All right. That's I'm sorry. That's priming effect in full effect. Talk about Daniel Jones, gets drafted. Was that your first Daniel Jones? I honestly don't think I have.
Probably is my first.
I should, right? I should have at least some exposure to every player. But there's some players like I do not see the path. I don't want to throw my 16th round pick in the trash. Like I just patently refuse to draft Daniel Jones.
Only because I took Malik Neighbors. That's the only and he's my QB too. And I'm going to do a 3 QB build. So that's the only reason.
Right. Well, you do have Neighbors. All right.
That's it. No, I would not take Daniel Jones if I did not have Malik Neighbors. No way. No chance.
Okay. All right.
Plus, I really only need a running back and 2 QBs. And I'm looking at like Khalil Herbert, Rashawn Johnson. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to take him here. So I just went with Daniel Jones. All right, here we go. Marcus from the baseball stream found the football stream. All right.
Hey.
It's time for a Nick Chubb discussion.
That's all you. Nick Chubb that's your territory.
I am not. There is no round I'm taking Nick Chubb this year.
Okay. Maybe so there's a player you have 0. Well, no, you did draft Nick Chubb the other day, didn't you? A couple weeks ago. Or was that just a mock?
Was that a best ball draft or was that in our redraft league? Like a mock draft?
Yeah, that might have been a sleeper mock.
It was like a sleeper mock in like maybe the last round. I don't know, but look, maybe Nick Chubb will defy all human physiology and whatever and come back from an absolutely devastating knee injury at the age of 29 and be the other part is not just come back. Remember, he's got to be fantasy relevant. But we have the only guy we can even point to other than Adrian Peterson who came back. But remember, Adrian Peterson was like 25, I think, or something when that happened. But Adrian Peterson, you can't even compare anybody to Adrian Peterson. That guy was freaking nature. Yeah.
Supernatural.
The only guy we can even say that has come back from ACL and been good in fantasy year one was probably Breece Hall last year. And that was only at the end of the season. And that was only because he was getting like 8 to 10 catches a game. Like Breece Hall, if Breece Hall was only getting 2 or 3 catches a game last year, Breece Hall would have been absolutely terrible. All right, I guess I'm getting Derek Carr here for the Olave stack for my QB3. So even if you say like, well, maybe Nick Chubb can be this year's Breece Hall, a healthy Nick Chubb is not getting half the receptions Breece Hall got last year. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't see the path. I just don't see the path for Nick Chubb this year. I just really don't. I mean, maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe Nick Chubb will defy all logic and come back. But yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah, I just feel like wherever he's gonna get drafted based on name value is gonna be much higher than where he should be drafted. So that's the thing. It just doesn't seem worth it, especially in an underdog.
Yeah.
Which for that reason,
people are going to be like Nick Chubb, playoff winner Nick Chubb because he'll be healthy. Like, but again, Nick Chubb, a healthy Nick Chubb gave you almost zero passing game work. So you are banking on Nick Chubb coming back from this knee injury and being as good as Nick Chubb was.
Right. That's why Jerome Ford is such a great value. And look, right now, I just grabbed Deontay Foreman, because speaking of priming effect, and he's going to be the RB2. He's going to get some goal line looks. He might take over if Ford gets hurt. So I still feel like that's a great late round grab too.
Yeah. And I mean, remember there was like a week of like 6 games last year where like Breece Hall got single digit fantasy points. Breece Hall was catching like 6, 7, 8 passes and could barely hit double-digit PPR points. He was so bad. I remember people were just complaining, like, "Oh my gosh, do I drop him? What do I do with this guy?" He had those 2 nice games to finish the season in week 16 and week 17 if you somehow made it that far with Breece Hall. But again, it was on like 10 plus catches. It was remember that game against the Browns? Like, he caught like 12 passes for like 40 yards. I don't know what it was. It was like Zeke, right? I was like, Zeke. Yeah, Zeke. Okay, Zeke helped you win a championship because he was getting like 8 catches for 30 yards. So, but Chubb can't do that. Chubb can't. A healthy Chubb isn't going to do that. So,
yeah. DB here's total agreement. Peg leg Chubb. Nothing but disappointment. Yeah, we're not doing that. And Jeff, what's up, Jeff? Sorry, Jeff. I actually considered it until I realized I needed another running back. 18th round, Paris Campbell did not happen this time, but next week I will not promise, but maybe think about taking Paris Campbell. But he wants to know, was it Breece or was it the Jets offense? It's clearly it was the Jets offense.
Well, I mean, the Jets offense was also bad for sure, but look, there were games last year. Like, I don't care how bad the offense and the offensive line is. Breece Hall had games of, even when he was getting like all the snaps, he had games of 49 total yards. He had 7 catches in that game and had 49 total yards. That's rushing, receiving with 7 catches. 6 catches, total yards, 45. 18 total yards. Like 75 total yards, 60 total yards, 73 total yards, 69 total yards. And this is while he's catching like 5, 6, 7, 8 passes. Like, yeah, the offense is partly to blame, but come on. Like, Breece Hall was bad last year. Look, he was coming out. I love Breece Hall. Like, I was probably higher on almost anybody when Breece Hall was a rookie. But he was coming off ACL. He was bad. He just was. He was bad. But he's going to be awesome this year. So,
yeah, I'll say this.
The Jets offense will hopefully be good.
First half, Breece Hall was just not good. And then we saw the real Breece Hall down the stretch. Then second half, Breece Hall was more like real Breece Hall. Dalvin Cook.
I don't even know if we saw second half a real Breece Hall. I think we just saw like insane pass catching Breece Hall. I mean, look, he had games of 8 from week 14 to week 17. He had 8 catches in one game, 12 catches in a game. That was that, or 9 catches against Cleveland. Remember, he had that game against Miami, 18 total yards, week 15. 18 total yards. What?
Yeah. Well,
I just
think
was better.
Like, he was definitely better, but by that point, the Jets were just train wreck. But yeah, like Dalvin Cook was just bad, objectively bad. He went to Baltimore, and he was still bad. So he's just done. So
no, Dalvin Cook is complete dust. Dalvin Cook is dust.
We are done with this draft, but we are going to show the team. So here we go, Chris. Let's see how you feel about this iteration of BBM5. You went with Burrow, the infamous Daniel Jones, and Derek Carr.
Yeah, this is interesting because I don't have a stack with Burrow, which I rarely like to do, but I got him 14 spots below ADP. I was hoping I could get Jermaine Burton, but I wasn't able to. So,
actually, my question there is whether you stack or not with Burrow. So I know Burrow is not one of the first quarterbacks off the board. You still went 3 QBs. So you feel, was this more about Jones being your QB2 because of how long you waited? Do you feel like Burrow is a quarterback that in general, if he's your QB1, you don't feel like you can get away with only having 2 QBs?
Probably a little of both. I think it depends. It probably depends on who my QB2 is with Burrow. But because my QB2 with Daniel Jones, because I don't even, if I had Burrow, let's say I got Burrow and say like somebody like Stafford or Goff or even Cousins, I'd probably be okay with 2. But with Burrow and Daniel Jones, I felt like I needed 3.
All right, fair enough. But that's a great value on Burrow. You got to pick one of 5. All right, only 5 running backs. Interesting. Pacheco, Kamara, Chase Brown, McLaughlin, Hill. Why the 5 running backs?
I went very wide receiver heavy. Maybe I should have maybe I should have taken one more running back and one less wide receiver, but I just like the values I got at wide receiver in this draft. So, yeah, definitely risky at running back here.
All right. And AJB Olave to go with Carr, Neighbors to go with Daniel Jones, Godwin, always a great pick. Worthy, Addison, and Pearsall. You really didn't go that deep. I mean, you got 7 wide receivers. This group should definitely carry you.
That's what I mean. Like I just felt like I was getting such good wide receiver value in this draft. I mean, really, outside of Pearsall, I didn't take a wide receiver outside of pick 80. Like I just felt like I kept getting such great wide receiver value. But Pearsall's a guy I think Pearsall right now is borderline must draft.
Yes.
I don't expect Ayuk to get traded, but if he does, that ADP is going to be probably inside the top 100. So I feel like this is the time where you got to take shots on Pearsall. So even though I maybe didn't need another wide receiver, it's hard for me not to take Pearsall, especially when I'm getting him at 153. Yeah, take Pearsall.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I'm surprised his ADP hasn't risen. As soon as all the Ayuk talk, the Ayuk demand, I should say, I thought his ADP would skyrocket, and it really hasn't. Maybe it will start to climb, but 10 picks past ADP, yeah, that's a great pick. And then Goddard, Schultz, Conklin, that's totally fine. Franken tight end should get you by.
Yep. Frankenstein tight end for sure.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't love my draft, and not just because the one auto pick, which kind of threw me off, but I took some players I really have almost no exposure to here. So I got Jaden Daniels, who I think is fine for his upside in best ball. I just feel like he gets drafted too early for my taste a lot of times. But okay, fine, Jaden Daniels. So because he was my first QB, because I really don't like and don't trust Aaron Rodgers, but I took him. I don't know. I always feel like I forced it to stack with Garrett Wilson, which I just said you don't have to do that, but I kind of feel like I did because I waited on QB2 and because my QB1 was Jaden Daniels, and then I went with a third QB. I just don't like 3 QB builds if possible, but I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm the same way, but I think maybe when you go Daniels, it's okay here. And I'm fine with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you got him right at ADP. I think Daniels is a great pick, honestly. He's got the upside that you want in this format, especially. So, yeah. I know. I generally don't like 3 QB either, but.
Well, let's see. Got the Whites. And
you really waited on running back.
Pollard, Tracy Foreman. I don't know. I feel like it's okay, but I don't know if there's a league winner in there unless Brooks really takes off in the second half.
I mean, Zamir. I mean, you're getting Zamir at pick 83. You definitely waited, but I mean, like I don't mind, especially in this format. Again, like would I want this? I mean, I'm okay with this in a redraft league. I'm fine with it. I'm fine like waiting forever for running back, even in a redraft league. I'll make it work. I'll work the waiver wire. But I think especially in this format, you just look like if Rachaad White and Zamir White carry you early in the season and you get some spike games from Tony Pollard, which is certainly possible. Maybe Deontay Foreman's more involved. Then Jonathan Brooks starts coming on. This running back room should be fine. I'm guessing your wide receiver, you got some good wide receivers. Yeah, you started 4 straight wide receivers, so.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Here's the room. I do like Wilson, Marvin Harrison, Pittman Flowers, which, by the way, I'll throw this up. Shout out to Gabriel, who did jump on a little earlier, and he had a question, so let's throw this on. He says, saw the video this morning. Olave was on it. You got Olave. And then he's asking, do you think that Marvin Harrison Jr. will be better than Olave? So obviously Harrison gets drafted just ahead of him, but would you rather, how it goes, take Harrison like where I took him, or wait and take Olave where you took him, or what's your thought?
Well, you got him at pick 14 in this draft, which I guess was 2 spots before me. I think I'm okay with either, honestly. I don't know, like this is a good question for sure. I don't know if I feel significantly better about Harrison than Olave. But I don't think I feel significantly better about Olave than Harrison either. So fine with either of them, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like it's close. I give the slight edge to Harrison. I definitely have him in terms of ranking, where I would take him a little bit higher. But if I pick a couple of spots later and I get Olave instead of Harrison, I'm not disappointed. I think it's fine. Okay. So I got Harrison, Wilson, Pittman, Flowers. I mean, I feel like that alone should be good enough. And then Dotson with, oh yeah, McCaffrey and then Tyler.
Wow, that's quite a reach on Luke McCaffrey there. How did it auto Luke McCaffrey for you?
I put him in my queue for like later and didn't put anybody else in my queue, and that's what happened.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that hurts a little bit, but I'm sure it'll be all right.
That's what happens. Yeah. Talking and drafting,
Hey,
it happens.
Is Musgrave your highest, your most drafted player?
Who is?
Musgrave is your highest drafted player?
Right now, I think it's Pittman, Dotson, who, I took them both again. And then Musgrave's probably number 3. And then I do have a lot of Kamani Vidal. But Pitts and Musgrave, I'm living in a world where Pitts is a tight end 1 and Musgrave goes off. So I feel like having 3 QBs, man, I wasn't going to take a third tight end. And there we are. So it's not my favorite team, but I think it's still got some upside.
Definitely. Yeah, this is definitely not my favorite team either, for sure. I don't love the 9 spot, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely. And then let's get to one question before we get out of here. Cruz Garcia, what's up, Cruz? Keeper League, you keeping CD to lose a 2nd and 6th round pick, Gibbs losing the 4th, or Puka or Kyron and losing my last round.
This is easily Puka.
Yes.
For last round. Easily Puka for last round. Like, I know it's hard not to keep CD, not to keep Gibbs. I can pretty much easily not keep Kyron. I don't like maybe Kyron will hold on to this job long term. We'll see. But Puka with your last round pick, Puka's a first rounder, and I mean, even like maybe in like ESPN, maybe in like other leagues, Puka's at least a second rounder. Like you're getting a 2nd round pick with your last round pick. You might still be able to draft CeeDee Lamb, because I assume the guys you don't keep go back into the pool. You might still be able to get CeeDee Lamb. You might still be able to get Jahmyr Gibbs. You might still be able to draft these guys. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way. Like if you let Puka go back into the pool, he's going in the 1st or 2nd round. Like, yeah, take Puka in the last round for sure.
Yeah, this is a no doubter. It's Puka. My second choice would then be the Gibbs pick. I think I put Kyron last, but yeah, it's Puka. Won my league, so I'm loaded. One, hopefully, because you were with us all last year, you guys are going to stay with us all this year. Draft season isn't too far behind, and then we got training camp. It's coming. It's almost here. So keep it locked. Videos are going to start coming more fast and furious. Live streams, of course. Hit notifications if you haven't already. Join us for another mock this coming week, this coming Sunday, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, appreciate all you guys.